So I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Morgantown Utility Board for Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. We had the minutes of the regular meeting of January 11th, 2021 provided to us in the read ahead. So if there's any corrections or deletions, if not, have a motion to approve those.
I move to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of January 11th, 2021 as submitted.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes of the January 11th, 2021 regular meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Okay. Minutes are approved. Public portion. Anybody contact us about wanting to speak here?
No, sir, not at all.
Nope. Okay. All right. We'll move to new business. Health insurance.
Okay, well, as part of our work to find other alternatives with our health insurance without sacrificing quality, we contacted the West Virginia Public Employees Insurance Agency to determine if MUB could be a participant. It turns out that we can, and by doing so, we're going to be able to save, we believe, a significant amount of money for the utility board and for our employees. As this process evolves, we feel like we're going to need a broker to help us navigate these waters. So we're going to be advertising for a broker here in just the next few weeks.
How will you do that?
How will we advertise for the broker?
Yes.
Or we'll just put it out for bid.
Yes, that was the question. How will we advertise for the broker?
Yeah, we'll put it out for bid and it'll be on their experience on working with PIA and assisting an entity like ours. There are brokers that are assisting some other entities like the Kanawha County Commission, I believe, and the city of Charleston and so forth in making that transition.
And you've carefully compared the plans, because PEI is not the best insurance going.
We have compared the plan. Our current broker, and if I could let Debbie speak to that a little bit more in depth than myself, but our current broker has looked at the side-by-side comparisons with plan A and B. What I would tell you is that the insurance has been one of the we'll say sticking points with the employees here at MUB. It's not the easiest insurance to work with. I can tell you from my own experiences that I've had to make several calls just to get prescriptions filled.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I've had difficulties, and I'm a former PIA Plan A user, and so
okay.
I won't say that PIA was any more difficult to work with than the health plan, which was what we have today.
I have PEIA. Tom, do you have PEIA?
I have their Medicare Advantage through Humana now,
Okay.
but it's
My
PEIA.
has been good with PEIA, but I will issue some warnings. PEIA covers public employees, and the teachers are a main piece of that. And they've impacted through the legislative process a freeze on the premiums of PEIA for the last year, maybe two, maybe going forward for 3. So that
Well,
means
my insurance has gone up for the last 2 years. It just didn't go up this past year.
well,
Otherwise,
what
it's
I
gone up
just-
every year since I've been here.
Really? Well, you're an active employee, so you are paying at a different rate than some of us on the Humana retirement side probably. So I anticipate a significant increase at some point in the future, although There's no private insurance that I can think of that does what PEIA does as far as the subsidy for the employee and the low premium for for active employees. So I can see how it would save us money now, definitely. Can I assume that we're in the same pool then with the large plan, or do they break these out and fund them in a little bit different way? Do you know?
Well, there are two plans. There's the state plan and then there's the non-state participant, and that's what we would be, the non-state participants. And
Okay.
so we would be part of that pool. And that's where the savings comes, obviously, is this such a large pool compared to just MUD standing on its own.
Right, right.
The other thing that PEIA allows, at least when I was full-time with the university, you could get a discount if you were a non-smoker. I don't know if our current plan through the health plan has a non-smoker discount or not.
It does not.
So I think that would induce people to pursue a little healthier lifestyle, recognizing that they could save some money.
Plus you have to at least with us, every year we have to have blood tests and all that stuff done, and a form. We have to sign a form and send it to PEIA.
So is that a health assessment or is that for smoking?
No, it's a health assessment. I don't smoke.
Okay. Because I know
It's just
some plans,
just I have.
they do give a discount for non-smoking, and they give discounts further for your annual physical, your dental, et cetera, et cetera. And
We don't have that.
so I don't know what this plan will look like, but I would say that some of that
Yeah.
opportunity will exist at some point. I say
Yeah.
it's trying. You can always go back to the market if things get too
Yep.
costly.
Yes.
Right now,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can save several, quite a bit of money for enrollment. So I think it's worth it.
I think for the employees' benefit, you need to establish a sheet that lays out the benefit levels associated with the current plan versus the new plan. So they are not surprised if something changes that they become dependent upon.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's exactly what we will be working with our broker to do to help us with the education for our employees. And Barbara, you're absolutely correct. If something happens, we're not married to this forever. We can go
Right.
back out to the market
Yeah.
if necessary.
Yeah.
Is this something that's done a lot, or like
Yes.
shopping for different plans, or just something that looking for cost cuts due to just less revenue because of COVID and stuff? Or is this something that is done a lot?
Most benefits plans go out to the market every 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
So it's a regular process, trying to keep the premiums down, trying to make healthcare affordable.
That makes sense.
And this PEIA does not have a health savings account component, whereas I've talked to people who have the health savings account component, and they have horror stories to talk about what their premiums are relative to what they have to pay out of the health savings account.
That would be a discussion, I think, for our administrator
Mhm.
to figure out. I don't know. And of course, the administrator would be responsible for communicating all of this to employees. So.
Right.
Yeah. We have a health savings. We have that option to establish health savings accounts, but I'm not sure whether it's through PEIA or through a different setup. But we have that.
I think it's an IRS provision, is it not, outside of a plan? So you can set that money aside. It depends how you're designated to pay it.
Yeah.
Those are nice to have if you have ongoing healthcare expenses.
The other thing that PEIA may permit that maybe the health plan does not, I don't know the detail. Sometimes they have optional dental and optical and hearing assistance that they can buy into. Now, those plans generally, because they are bought by a much more restricted pool. Generally speaking, it's almost a wash because the people who need those services are the ones who pay in and get money out compared to the broad-based health plans.
Ours included chiropractic and acupuncture up until I think and massage up until about 2 years ago. And then that was one of the, rather than raise rates as much as they initially wanted, they cut those services, so that coverage.
The other thing you might want to see is if employees currently are in the PEIA, and this the broker could tell you, and they come up on retirement, I know they can move into COBRA, what the COBRA payment would be, because I think you're going to have some employees retiring this next year, and how the whether the PEIA for the non-state agencies converts into the Humana that I have, because the Humana I'm really impressed with.
Really? Yeah. I'll have to remember that.
They sent
Yeah,
me
that's
free
question.
face masks, for example.
Yeah, no, it's a good question as far as does it carry forward to retirement? Because that was one big advantage of PEIA because I was in healthcare. When I retired, I had no further coverage. So, and I retired before 65. But my husband had PEIA, so I went off of my plan and went to his. And so I have retiree healthcare insurance. I had it then. Now I qualify for Medicare, but those are sticky issues. I don't know if you're not in the, if you're a separate plan, you're right, that may not be a provision.
Right.
I know
Well-
if you're over 65, it takes care of the Plan B portion.
Yes.
Lots to consider. We'll find out more when we get the broker on board.
Okay, so
I'm glad you went to the market to do this. I think that's a great
Right.
idea. I don't know. I guess we never really
Yeah.
thought about it before as to whether we were eligible for PEIA.
yep, sounds like a good option for us. So so we'll wait and see what we do with the broker, and then we'll move forward from there. Any other comments on the insurance? No. Okay. Thanks, Mike and Deb. Good work on that. Move on and talk about the corporate credit card, Mike.
Yes, currently we have a card with American Express, and to change the authorized user over to me, we have to cancel our existing account and open up a new account. So we thought it would be best just to go ahead and discontinue that relationship with American Express and obtain our corporate cards through United Bank. And so they just require that the board approve us to do so.
Is
Is
that
there
our
a reason you're
primary-
switching? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Well, United,
that-
that's where we bank today, and it's
Right.
just, we
That
thought it
makes
would just be easier to have the cards through our financial institution.
Right.
Sure. Are there any benefits to the card? Are there any cash backs, or how?
There are some cash backs on the American Express, and we have applied for those to make sure that we've gotten everything out of it that we're eligible for.
And United has
But
the
there's
same.
nothing, sorry, I was gonna ask the same question. JT.
I'll defer to Debbie to answer that.
I'm not positive. She did send me a summary. It's been a couple months ago. I'd have to revisit it. I think there is some cash backs or advantages to it.
If there's not if there's not cash back, if it's not equivalent, then it's crazy to do that. You might as well go back to American Express, or Citibank has 5%, and I have that and I like it. So it might be something to consider.
What do we use the card for mostly, Mike?
There's some travel, there's purchases. I know that we will make purchases even at the shop. Our IT folks will make some purchases and so forth.
Okay.
Are we tax exempt?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I had a United credit card for a tax exempt organization, and they put the tax exempt number right on the card. So it was very easy. When you went and bought something that was tax exempt, you had the tax exempt number right on the card. I found that very
That's nice.
beneficial.
Okay. Okay, so if this is something we want to do, we need a motion.
I
Sure.
move to authorize the general manager and or the controller to execute such documents, including without limitation, an appropriate borrowing resolution, and to take such other necessary actions to open a corporate card account through United Bank and to have corporate cards issued to employees the general manager and or the comptroller deem appropriate.
I hate to be a stickler on this and a pain in the butt, but if United doesn't, or if the bank doesn't offer a 5% cash back, then no, I think we should go back to American Express or whoever does.
Well, American
There's a
Express, the American Express does it. There is a pretty hefty annual fee for American Express.
Yes, there is. I have it and I don't like it.
Yes, yeah.
Mine is $90 or something like that a year. I
Yeah,
just have a
American
regular.
American Express is, I think, much more expensive than that. So I agree with getting it out of American Express. I can
Then
only,
go to,
yeah, I gotta believe United Bank has, if not a cash back, they'll have some type of a bonus program.
Either that or
if not
lower
Citibank,
fees.
Citibank has no fee. So if United doesn't have something, then go to Citibank. But there's no point, if you're going to make anything more than a couple $100 a month, if you're making substantial purchases, there's no point in not having a cashback card.
Well,
There's no reason to just go to United just because you want to go to United, not if you can get a cashback card someplace else.
but you have to distinguish between an individual card and a corporate card. They're two different types of requirements, I suspect, with the banking or credit card issues.
We also have corporate cards through Chase that have no fee, that have cashback. So there are all kinds of banks that offer rewards.
I
If
just worry
United
when there's,
doesn't, then go to someplace else.
I just worry when there's a reward, it's like the raincoat is in there somewhere. Somewhere you're paying the fees.
Yeah.
No, the
Is
person,
there
the company you buy your product from pays the fees.
That's true.
Yeah.
My
Is there
husband has a
any-
cashback account for his corporate account, and periodically it makes his payment for him. It's enough cash back to make his payment for him.
Is there
And I don't
any,
mean the monthly payment, I mean the balance payment.
is there any disadvantage to closing a card? I don't know that much about corporate cards. That's why I'm asking. I know a personal credit card, they say sometimes it can be damaging, but is there any like long-term issue with closing that American Express? Would it look, I guess not, because it's not, I don't know that a company has like score or anything, but just curious about that.
No, I don't think there'd be any issue with closing it.
There is an issue if you don't close it and leave it open. And I will tell you that. So it's good to close it and bring closure to it and then proceed from there.
The other thing is, if this is going to be given to more people than the comptroller and the general manager, you usually will want to have some type of credit limit in there so that they can't exceed that limit without proper authorization. I don't know what that limit would be, but we have a limit built in for procurement in our operating procedures, and suspect that similar limit might be the type of limit that you'd put on the credit card. But I don't know if there's a limit with the American Express at the present time or not.
Just the basic United Bank. And there's no annual fee.
I'm sorry, you cut out. What did you say right after the basic card?
The basic United Bank card does have a cash back. It doesn't say what it is. And there is no annual fee.
Okay, perfect.
So I would say that I would say that it's going to be comparable. I don't know if it'll be 5% or not, Karen, but I guess we
Anything's
can.
better than nothing. Yeah.
I guess we can authorize the general manager to. I don't think we have to tell him if he chooses not to execute the documents and come back with another plan. But I can't imagine there's any credit card out there right now that doesn't offer something. I mean,
I figured probably too. And if they've got some kind of cashback or reward system, then that's fine. But
yeah.
I have a Fidelity account, which I have been charging everything through my Fidelity account. I have the same money I took out last March still in my pocket. I paid for everything through my Fidelity account, and it gives me automatic 2% back.
I'd like to add, there is not an annual fee. I have not determined from the information she gave me whether there is cash back, but we use it very limitedly. It's usually maybe about $5,000 a month. We do not use it to pay vendors. And American Express, whatever we're getting cash back from American Express, it's very minimal. We get Visa gift cards, maybe buy pop for the company picnic. So we're giving up nothing. And there is no annual fee, I know, with the United Bank card.
Yeah.
$5,000 is pretty substantial in terms of getting money back, I think. But
well, we did have a state purchasing card, which provided cash back and used it to pay vendors, and that's significant. But what we average with American Express is nowhere near that.
Okay. So I think we have a motion.
so I'll second.
Okay, and now we have a second. Thank you, Karen. So we have a motion and a second to authorize general manager, indoor comptroller to execute the documents for the United Bank credit card. Any further questions or comments on this credit card? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Okey doke. There you go. Okay, annual stone contract.
Okay, you'll recall that we issue an annual contract for the purchase of various sizes and grades of stone. That contract is often informally extended by mutual agreement upon expiration of one-year price lock. I've enclosed the bid tabulation for you this evening. These are unit prices only and does not commit us to any minimum or maximum purchase amount. The quantities and total nominal price shown are presented only to allow evaluation and comparison of those bids. It's our recommendation that we accept the bid from Greer Limestone Company.
I have one question. When they bid, we have the estimated tonnage for them for them to bid on?
Yes.
And are those tonnages representative of our annual usage?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
And who do we have the contract with at the present time?
I'll defer to Mr. Fetty to answer that question.
Greer Limestone, and they were the low bidder this time as well.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Looking for questions or a motion?
Motion.
Right.
I move to approve acceptance of the bid from and award of a purchase contract to Greer Limestone Company in the nominal example amount of $224,180 and authorizing the general manager to execute all documents related to award and execution of said contract.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the acceptance of the bid from and award of the purchase contract to Greer Limestone as per the bid document presented. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Nope. Okay. Motion passes. Move on to old business. Coven Creek.
Hey, you'll recall, Kanawha Stone is still has suspended work on the dam for the winter shutdown. They are still pouring concrete on the spillway. They're continuing the maintenance and construction of the erosion and sedimentation controls. Kanawha Stone has agreed, and this was from our previous meeting, to the change order that extends the contract completion date to June 18th, 2022, as well as agreeing to pay for all additional engineering fees associated with this time extension. They are approximately 59% completed based on the most recent pay application, which is through December 31st of 2020. And that's versus the total contract price. D&M Construction, they've completed the testing and repair of the last section of the raw water line between the connection at the water treatment plant and the University Toyota car dealership. They've completed the cleanup and restoration. This project will be listed as substantially completed as of January 20th, 2021. With regards to the Fike Run project, there are no changes from last month's report. We just continue to monitor the erosion and sedimentation control.
Okay. Update on the wastewater project.
The contractor and MUB, we continue to discuss the proposed change order, requesting the time extension of an additional 220 days. Now, you'll recall we offered 140 days, but it has been determined that we have some lead paint and concrete that will need to be removed from digesters 2 and 3 that will require some additional time and money. So what we're going to do is roll all these issues into one and work with the contractor on the cost and the time extension to get these other issues completed, as well as the initial time extension request. And then we'll report back to the board when we've completed that process.
So Mike, is this lead paint and concrete, is that work that was just recently completed, or is that old? Is that old work?
Well, it was not, it wasn't determined in the original scope of the project. It was found during the project. And so that's what the need for the change order is now. And Jim can speak in a little more depth on that if you'd like him to do so.
Yeah, please.
Well, Mike explained it pretty well. It just was some conditions that were unknown when the project started, and they were discovered as the work progressed. So we have to address it. We have to get this work done because we have to put new covers on those digesters, and this work has to be done before that can be completed.
Is that not included in the contingency category?
We do have contingency money to cover this. That's correct. We do. Although it was unknown, we do have contingency funds available.
Okay. Who found the problem? I mean, them, us, our inspector? How did this come about?
I'm not sure specifically. I think it was a joint effort getting ready to do the work on digesters 2 and 3. This became apparent at that point.
Okay. Okay. That's good by me. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay, move on to the general manager's report. Mike.
Okay. I've completed a meeting with all but one of MUB's employees since I've assumed the role of general manager. We discussed the expectations going forward, and I asked for everyone's feedback. And these are small group meetings of 10 or 11 employees. We did 2 a day. We did it for a little bit, about 2 weeks. Got a lot of good feedback from the employees. So it was a great exercise. It was I thought it was very helpful as I get started here at MUB.
I think it was a great idea. Appreciate you doing that.
Was there anything that surprised you or any insights that you found particularly interesting or thought-provoking or?
Well, some of the things that I thought that would come up, it would be normal. We talked about benefits, we talked about salaries and things of that nature, which I fully expected some of that to come up. Some of the employees talked about just the cost of insurance, how hard it is to afford it, especially on the entry level. So that kind of ties back into the PEIA discussion we had earlier in trying to find ways to make it easier, especially for our newer employees. But overall, what I got from it is that people are excited about change. No one's, there's always a little apprehension, I think, in an organization, especially the size of ours. But overall, I think people are excited and they're willing to, they're wanting to move forward, work together.
Okay. Move on to the office scenario.
We're still keeping the business office closed. We've had a few key employees come down with COVID here in the recent weeks. One of our employees here in the office is currently at home. She's had COVID. So we're just keeping the business office closed until we can get the vaccine. We had thought we were going to be in what was originally anticipated as 1B. That apparently is not going to happen now. So we've advised all of our employees to go online, get registered, and if they need any help, we'll do it for them.
Okay.
So the employees at the water treatment plant and at the discharge plant are not considered essential?
Apparently not.
Well, then let's just shut the whole thing down.
We don't know why. We
prove it wrong.
we thought that those employees in particular would be high on the priority list. That's the health department. We worked with the health department. We've tried about 3 different avenues to try and get employees vaccinated, and they've all fell on deaf ears.
What about the West Virginia Rural Water Association? Have they taken a position on this?
Yes, they actually partnered with West Virginia Municipal League to get employees to help get us on a list, especially those employees that are 50 and older, to move forward. And but there's no feedback. I mean, no one's hearing anything. It's we're not really sure why.
Have City of Morgantown or County Commission employees received the vaccine?
Not to my knowledge. I did reach out to Emily over at the city, and she was a great help. And she called back and left me a nice voicemail message to let me know that vaccinate.gov is the route to go. Because I was hoping maybe they had an inside track we could jump on.
Right. Well, this is very disappointing. I think the information that needs to be made much more general to the general public to let them know that essential employees are not receiving the vaccine, and perhaps maybe in the newspaper there might be mention made of that, because I think that's was supposed to occur and is not occurring.
Well, I can. We've tried. We've put out messages, but again, it's just not. It's not working. So we're to my knowledge, everyone is registered, and now we're waiting like everyone else, and hopefully, with the new Johnson & Johnson, maybe that will become available and more doses will come into the state.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you're doing all you can do. So, financial impact?
Well, we received our November requested amount of $6,016, but we also submitted for December the $12,524. But we're not sure if we're going to get reimbursed. The state notified us that they have spent their allotment. It's all been distributed now, so it doesn't look very promising we're going to get our December amount. Perhaps with the bill in Congress, that some more money will come down to the states and we can resume.
Are we still getting funds for those customers who have been unable to pay their bills, or is that pretty much closed down now?
That's closed.
Okay. Industrial park?
We continue to move forward with the industrial park extension project. As you know, we were going out to hire an outside engineering firm, mainly because of the time frame that this has to be completed in. And so we went through the 5G process, and we have selected E.L. Robinson Engineering Company to as a top. They were the top ranked firm, and we'll start negotiations with them. And once we have that completed, we'll come back to the board for approval.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that report, Mike. Does any of the board members have any issues or comments, questions for the staff?
I just want to commend the MUB employees who have to work in adverse weather conditions to continue providing the water and wastewater services. There have been some, I think, significant breaks that have occurred over the last month that they have been basically toiling all hours of the day and night. And I think they're to be commended for their diligence and professionalism and timeliness in repairing those problems.
Thank you, Tom. And I would point out too, we had crews out on Christmas Day, and and that's the way it always is. They're going to be out there on the holidays. Our plant operators show up, they get the work done. And if I may, just a moment, through those small group meetings I had with all the employees, very common thing is how much they enjoy working together, supporting one another, and that is a terrific. That's terrific feedback to hear, and the dedication that these men and women have to Mon County and Morgantown. It's fantastic.
Yep, can't say it enough. Can't thank them enough, for sure. Yep. Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Nope. Okay. Well, I guess if there's nothing else, we can move to adjourn.
So move.
So move.
Second.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good month.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good evening.